Hello everyone, welcome to third part of Rogue DPS guide. Today we are gonna go through Itemization, Enchants, Reforging and Gems. In Dragon Soul, when it comes to upgrading each slot, choice is very limited. Usually, with only few exceptions, there is only one item per slot, so in the end there is barely any theorycraft going on. Current best in slot list is the same for Assassination and Combat specs. This list contains following items: Blackfang Battle with Helmet, Choker of the Vanquished Lord, because there is simply no other neck dropping of Dragon Soul bosses. Valor Point neck is basically the same though, so feel free to use this one in case you miss necklace from Ragnaros. Underweller's Spolders, as they are the only 410 offset piece and its stats are better than Tear Shoulders. Dreadfire Drape, same as necklace, no other cloak drops of Dragon Soul bosses, and Valor Point 1 is worse due to much less agility. Blackfang Battle with Tunic, Shadowwing Armbands, Blackfang Battle with Gloves, Belt of Flayed Skin, Blackfang Battle with Leg Guards, Molten Blood Footpads, Seal of Primordial Shadow, Signet of Grasping Mouths, Wrath of Unchaining, Vial of Shadows, although this one is pretty rare, so you will probably end up using next option, which is Starcatcher Compass, Golad, Twilight of Aspects, and Tyriosh, Nightmare of Ages, Razor, Sarnite Chip. If you have no access to legendary weapons, then go with No-Colette in main head as combat, and Blade of the Unmaker as assassination, plus Electrowing Dagger in offhand for both specs. For Subtlety, best in slot list differs slightly, mostly because of tier 12 2-parts bonus, which is very strong for Subtlety rogues due to high crit chance. Following items are unique for Subtlety spec: Camera of Terrible Memories, Dark Phoenix Spolders, Dark Phoenix Gloves, Horrifying Horn Arbalest. The rest is the same as for Assassination and Combat. What about Enchants? Yet again, Assassination and Combat use the same setup. Some enchants can be replaced by soulbound versions related to your current profession. For example, Leatherworker can put 130 agility on wrist instead of normal 50 version. What about Subtlety? Almost everything looks exactly the same, the only exception is Gloves enchant. Reforging is a little bit more complex. At first it might feel pretty straightforward because in general you follow list of stat priorities, but when you get to the point where stat caps are reached, then it gets really messy if you want to optimize it 100%. Basically, we need program to do the job for us, because it's humanly impossible to run thousands iterations in our head to find optimal setup. In this situation, I highly recommend ShadowCraft tool. You can find it under this address. Interface is very user-friendly, so I don't think there is much to comment other than very basics. There are 4 tabs in general. First one is about gear and numbers summary related to your DPS. You can find your stat values as well as wave of each stat in your current gear. For example, you can see that for combat spec with my current gear, yellow hit is valued higher than expertise, and then haste, spell hit, mastery and so on. These numbers adjust accordingly to changes in your setup, so whenever you upgrade something, then it's smart move to visit this site and check for new numbers. Other than Reforging and gear, you can play with your enchants and gems to find optimal setup. Enchants are pretty straightforward because there is not many options and I already covered it before, but for gems it is sometimes not as clear as it would appear. Although in Dragon Soul all items are filled with pretty much only red gems, which makes this choice quite obvious. All in all, check ShadowCraft for everything. Keep in mind that Subtlety simulation is very hard to model, so values for this spec are probably not 100% accurate, but after all I find these numbers to be the most trustworthy and apply them to my playstyle. Then we have Talents and Glyphs tab, Settings, where you can choose raid buffs, race, poisons and professions, and then even more settings such as refresh from armory or saving and loading snapshots. As I said previously, everything is very user-friendly, so check it yourself. If you, however, don't feel like toying with this tool is worth your time, here is quick summary regarding Reforge and gems for each spec. Stat priority list for assassination is yellow hit before spell hit, before Mastery, Haste, Expertise, Crit, and White hit. For combat, Yellow hit before Expertise, before Haste, Spell hit, Mastery, White hit, and Crit. For Subtlety, Haste before Yellow hit, before Expertise, Crit, Spell hit, Mastery, and White hit. Here you can see a brief summary of gems. Remember though that sometimes it is more optimal to ignore bonus and match all sockets with red gems. However, it's not really a case in Dragon Soul because all items have strong bonuses and therefore are worth it. So yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. In the next part I'm gonna talk about tips in action. See you soon and remember to subscribe.